welcome to the channel. And let's see what's going on with the 52 barn door today. If you don't know what this is, links in the description for past episodes so you can catch up. Well, what we're doing today is pulling the gearbox apart. Dun dun dun! And it is already apart. So I've actually given it a coat just to protect the magnesium. We discovered the bearings inside aren't good, so we are stripping it. Obviously I've just separated the two halves, undone all the bolts along the top here, and they just basically pop in half. So it's pretty easy to get it to this stage. Yeah, unfortunately the bearing, I can show you that over here, is extremely crusty. This is the internal bearing here. And you know, these are available, not that big of a deal. I might even try and clean it out, but yeah, it doesn't sound very good at all when I was spinning it. So I figured, let's pull it apart. What we've got to do now is obviously get the bearing on this side out, and we're just going to flush all this stuff out and make sure everything's good inside and continue from there. So the thing we've got to do is separate that part of the case off the gearing. So let's do that. Okay, so first thing, we've just taken off this seal, and I don't know, it's got a part number on it. It sort of seems like it's not bad. Yeah, it's the part number. Let's see. Let's see if this is available. Probably not. 111307-113C. Okay, I bet you're not. But you know what? It's actually quite malleable. It could be savable. Anyway, that main, I suppose, drive shaft, that can just pop out like so. It's easy. You could probably change the bearing on that one too. I think all the bearings probably need to be changed. That probably comes out as it is. There it goes. Almost. It wants to come out, but you probably have to remove this first. And I think that can just get knocked straight out. It can. We'll get the nylon hammer and give it a tap that way, and it should actually just take the whole lot out in one go. There we go. There comes that guy. Now, this will just pop straight out. Should, hopefully. Like so. And, well, you know what, the rest of that can stay. Let's just knock out that bearing in the middle, because that sounds awful. What we are going to do is go and wrap these suckers up. We're going to wash these, just get any contaminants off them. We'll just wrap those up in some rags. The shifter forks look good, no problems there. That bearing there's good. Alright, we'll flip this over, and we should be able to just knock Mr. Bearing out, which is this guy. Pop him in here, give him a tap. That doesn't sound good. I'd say that's cooked. They're quite simple gearboxes, these. There's nothing really overly too complex about them. Even though some people might freak out and think it's something quite complex. There is adjustments, obviously, you've got to know, but everything in here looks pretty good, apart from those main bearings. And I'd suspect the boots will probably let some junk in at some point in time. Right, we're going to go and dunk these suckers in the ultrasonic, just see if we can save them. You never know, unless you have a go. Yeah, we'll go and chuck them in the ultrasonic in a tub of some thinners, degreaser. Let's see what happens. Okay, so back from the ultrasonic cleaner, and you can see here the bearings are very nice and shiny, and if I spin them, they are absolutely perfect. But you know what? We're going to replace them anyway. I'm going to go down the bearing shop, get a couple of new ones. Always good to put new bearings in. You don't know how much work they've done, but you know, look, all that crap that was in there is gone. So all this works really well. So you can see there. So yeah, that's all ready to get put back together. We will get back to this. So one of the next things I've done is I have glass beaded the 22mm front brake wheel cylinders, and these you can't unfortunately buy new. I have got some 19mm ones coming for the rear, but the front ones, we're going to have to get these refurbished. So they are, look, if you look in through there, you can see they are pitted, so unfortunately they're going to leak. So I'm going to have to get them sleeved. I'm going to take them to a brake specialist, as well as the pads as well. So these guys here are the asbestos ones. We're going to get them changed out, but again you can't buy them, so we're going to get them repadded, reshoed, you could say. So they'll all get sent away with the drums as well, so that they can be all matched properly. And brakes, you've got to do properly. There's no mucking around with brakes, but as you guys know. So I'm waiting for some seals for the gearbox so we can put that back together. Yeah, we can go from there. Okay, so it's a few days later. We have new bearings already installed and everything is spinning beautiful. Next thing we've got to do now is obviously reattach everything. I'm still waiting for that input shaft seal, but we can put that in later on, so that's not a problem. But next we'll be getting the axles and the hub back in. So let's get that cracking. We're going to have to sort of fandangle this. I think what I might do is pop this over to here. Here's a bit of cool writing just to show you guys. Look at this, where they've gone and etched obviously the build numbers. Who knows, there's a guy's name there. Very cool. You know, they took a lot of pride in their work, didn't they? Look at that, etched. And look, these pinion gears look pretty. Yeah, they've got a little bit of scoring inside them. They're not, you know, they're not fantastic, but they're going to do for what this is going to be used for. Everything else looks pretty good. All right, let's get this thing in. Home and hose. Now we can start putting our gasket goop around it and then slide the other side on top. Okay, we're going to do one last clean, just using some alcohol, rubbing alcohol. We just want to make sure these surfaces are spotless because we do not want leaks. Now comes the fun part, getting this thing back together. So we might just grab a couple of bolts. Not going to cinch it up fully tight yet, but just to hold a couple. I think that'll do it for now. We'll just leave that, let the gasket cement set up a little bit, and then we can cinch up all the bolts and go from there.
2 hours later.
Everything has dried up. We've cinched up all the bolts on the transmission. We have also painted the axle tubes with the epoxy black and the reduction hubs as well. Got them done. and the bearing caps. And we've done all the nuts and bolts, and these little guys here, I glass beaded those for the brakes, the little adjusters. So yeah, she's coming along very nicely. We're waiting now for the gasket kit to come from the UK, and then we can actually bolt all these things together. Now, one interesting thing with this gearbox, which when I was pulling it apart, I noticed there's no daisy chain little plastic covers that go between this and this. And there is a little bit of wear on here. Now, I don't know if it's supposed to have those or not, because when we pulled it apart, it didn't look like, you know, these have been tampered with before in terms of the gaskets. So does anyone know, is a 52 gearbox supposed to have these little daisy rings on there between the two surfaces of metal? Because it just seems a bit odd that you would have metal on metal, you know. And like I said, there is some marks in here, so I don't know whether that is, again, you try looking for any of this stuff on the internet and you just come up blank straight away. That's done. What we're doing now is I need to take the brake shoes down to the brake specialist, but he needs the drums as well because he has to match them to the pad. So I am just about to sandblast the front drums. We have those in here. I'll show you quickly. And we're actually using a different media today. We're not using the standard garnet, but I'm actually using this very, very fine glass bead. So I have to be a little bit more careful. Definitely wear a respirator for this one because it's not good for you. Not as much as the other one anyway. So that, I mean, look, this is all contained anyway, and it's got its own little air filterization unit there. We'll get those blasted, and then we can take all the brakes down and the wheel cylinders as well. So, all right, so let's get these brake drums blasted. These are out of the sandblaster. They look a lot better than they used to. Yeah, pretty much did both sides of them. So we'll have to put a little bit of a coating on them to stop them flush rusting, I suppose. But yeah, these have to go to the brake shop, and also I've done the rear ones as well. Now, these are actually in really good condition. They haven't done a lot of work at all. The fronts have probably done a little bit more, but they're still within spec, so we shouldn't have a problem getting the shoes re-shoed. Yeah, that part's ticked off. We'll go and chuck them in the car and move on to the next part. Okay, so we are moving on underneath the bus again, and this time we're going to take out the single master cylinder here because she's very rusty, and there's a really beautiful example of an early brake switch. I really hope that thing's still working because, you know, it's got the factory little eyelets on there that go in. Very cute. I like it. Anyway, we're going to undo this because obviously the piston inside here is completely shagged, so we have to replace that. What we're going to do first is just undo the split pin here. Trying to get that little split pin out, and she's being a naughty, naughty girl.
2,000 years later.
As you can see, it took a little bit of heat to get that pin to slide out. Man, that took about 10-15 minutes. I thought I won't use up all my GoPro footage for that. Anyway, let's undo these two. I think they're 13s. Let's have a look. 14s. Yep, they want to come off, which is good. Probably need another set on the back side because they're spinning around. Let's go and grab another one. Rubber boot. Master cylinder. Now, this top here we want to reuse if we can. It is very corroded, but again, unitonium. Well, I think you can buy aftermarket ones, but we don't want to do aftermarket. We're going to pop this in the sandblaster and see if we can bring back the container top there. Let's do it. Okay, so here is the the master cylinder. Be interesting to see whether we can separate it. So, I mean, look, the cap's not bad. Mate, even the rubber O-ring inside there is usable, which is crazy. This is a bit marred up on the top here. I don't know if we can actually fix that or not, but we can try. Oh yeah, there is a cover there. We'll see how we go. We might try and beat that back out and try and make it look a little nicer than what it is. And then of course inside here, I'll just put a bit of WD-40 in there to see if we can crack that nut off. Let's see what happens. Oh no, I think, yeah, she is fused. We're going to need some heat. So we'll just empty out the liquid. And of course we don't want to add too much heat because that's aluminium. Let's give that a go. Don't want to add too much heat to it. Come on. No way. Okay. Let's see what else we can do here. We might have to leave this soak for a while, I think. Or potentially put it in the ultrasonic just to see if we can shift a bit of the rust factor. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is that aluminium nut part of the outer casing, or is it just an aluminium nut by itself which screws off? Because obviously if it's part of the outer casing, I don't want to go and just shear it off and then completely ruin the container. So yes, a little bit more research might be in order. I think we might leave that just there for a while to do its soaky soak. Keep it upright like that, and that's enough to... Anyway, let's move on. Now as for this lid, oh yes, you can take the top off, and yeah, so I think that just comes off. Oh yeah, there's another rubber seal, and again, probably reusable. Oh yeah, look at that. We can actually get to the inside here and see. We can probably tap this out a bit. Very cool. Let's pop him up here. We'll use a couple of little items to do tappy with. That's probably not a bad one. Guess my little hammer. Oh yeah. We've got a couple of distorted sides. How are we going to do that? Little hexagonal sides done. We've got all that surface there flat. It's just getting these sides pushed in. So probably something off the side here. Let's do that. Pop you over here for a minute. Okay, so I rounded it. It's supposed to be a circle, not hexagonal. So I was a bit stupid there, but anyway, I just used a socket, popped it in like that, and then just tapped around. It's a bit rough. There's a little hole here, but that's not going to matter. I mean, we might be able to just seal that up, actually. I might even just do that too. Yeah, actually, we probably do want to seal it up. But it is behind this, so that will have a seal through it. Oh, hang on, let's see. So that's like an air breather. That's interesting, because we don't want to let moisture get into the brake fluid. So yeah, we will have to seal that up. Anyway, let's go and sandblast this and see how good it comes out. And here it is back from the sandblaster. Not bad. You can see it's just got that little hole there. We might put a bit of JB Weld on that, or a bit of aluminium putty just to seal it up so we haven't got moisture going through. But that's pretty good. Gotta love when you save stuff, hey? Now, this is the next bit we're going to have to just try and get sorted out. So let's see how we go with that. Okay, so after a couple of hours of a little bit of heat in here, a little bit of WD-40, we have... Give it a crack here, just to make sure we can crack it. I did get it to move before. Yeah, it's going. Yeah, baby. We got it. Yeah. All right. Separate these two. So there's the little copper washer that goes between them, and there's the nut. Oh, bloody champion. We can go and give this a sandblast and a bead blast, and also the nut, and yeah, we are in business. That is some good news, because that's another part that you can't I haven't been able to find. Everyone's out of stock of these things, but you know, you want to use the original one. This is what it's all about. All right, let's chuck these two in the sandblaster. This part here you can still buy from the original source from ATE, I think they're called. So I've got one of those ordered. As you can see, I sandblasted the little brake switch, and I'm so hoping that this works because it's just a beautiful piece of workmanship. I've blown it out. Well, we won't know obviously until we bleed the brakes and hook it up, but fingers crossed, eh? That's a very cool little piece. A lot better than the aftermarket junky, shanky stuff we've got these days. Okay, we'll go and get these blasted and see how they turn out. Look at that. Not bad, eh? Inside and out. She looks brand new. So yeah, you got to be stoked when you can reuse the original parts like this. Very stoked. Very stoked indeed. Okay. I reckon that is going to be it for this episode, guys. I will see you guys in another installment on the barn door. And we're just ticking off a few little things as we go. Yeah, catch you in the next one.